Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining our Zoom with Drew Shelton. As always, please raise your hand and I will call on you. We'll start with Rich Garcella.
Good morning, Drew. Thanks for doing this.
Morning.
Drew, what can you tell us about your high school playing days with Will Howard and what kind of quarterback and leader was he?
Yeah, obviously I grew up playing everything with Will, baseball, basketball, football. He's a great guy, good leader, keeps the guys on track, everything like that. And, it's been exciting to see what he's been able to do throughout his college career and excellent football player, and it's gonna be fun to see him on Saturday.
Daniel Gallen.
Good morning, Drew. Thanks for the time. How would you assess your own play through 7 games this year in terms of, where you've made strides and, where you still feel like you have some room to improve?
Yeah, obviously, the thought process is going 1-0 each week and continually on the rise, getting better each week. So I feel like I've been able to do that, get better each week. Throughout the week of practice, Tuesday and Wednesday, really dialing in on certain things each week and um seeing I'm seeing the progress pay off, seeing the hard work pay off, and just continuing to commit to the grind and be dialed in on that and get better every single day, every single week.
Seth Engel.
Hey Drew, thanks for the time today. You've seen JT Tuimoloau for the last 2 years, and he's been pretty dominant when you guys play Ohio State. What makes him such a special player, and what's kind of the game plan going into this one to try to slow him down?
Yeah, obviously he's a good football player. He's quick, he's twitchy, does a lot of things. He's good with his hands, great pass rusher. Obviously it's gonna be a challenge for the tackles. You know, we're gonna get we're gonna get challenged this week, and that's just what it is. We're just stepping up to the plate and being ready when our number's called. He's a good football player. We see a lot of DNs that are really good, whether that be in practice or throughout the season so far. It's just like every week we gotta go 1-0 each rep, each quarter, each series, and obviously in the game.
Joe Smeltzer.
Hey Drew, thanks for the time. So following up on that, JTT obviously gets a lot of attention among Ohio State's defensive ends and defense nationally, but Jack Sawyer's another veteran guy on the edge that's been uh, pretty solid for them. What have you seen from him, and what would
Yeah,
make
they're
him a
both they're
challenge
both
to
good
go up
players.
against?
They do a lot of things similarly. They do a lot of different things. They play. Um, they're good football players. Jack Sawyer, 33, he's a little bit more of like a power guy, it seems. But he's still really good with his hands and does a lot of the pass rush moves and everything really well. So, like I just said, we're gonna be challenged this week and we gotta step up to the plate.
Max Ralph.
Hey Drew, how you doing?
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks. Have you heard from Will this week? And what are you telling teammates about him?
No, I haven't heard from him. But I'm just been telling the guys like when they ask, he's a good player. He's calm, he's composed. Um, at least that's what I remember of him. Um, he's gonna keep him on track. He's never gonna get too high, never gonna get too low, and you know, just overall a good player.
Tyler Donahue.
Good morning, Drew. I hope you're doing well today. Wanted to ask you about the tackle position opposite of you. We've seen Nolan Rucci involved for some big snap totals, 2 of the last 3 games with Anthony on the sideline. How do you think those two guys have worked off of each other throughout their year together? And what's the confidence level that, if one guy can't go or both guys got to be involved, that the job's going to get done on the right side?
Yeah. Those guys they do a tremendous job working with each other each day in practice, each week on the sideline during the game on Saturdays. just constantly talking to each other, what they see. We do a film sheet each week as the O-line, comparing our notes and our thoughts on the film to what each other tackle and other guards, they do the same thing, what they have, and so just continually to talking to each other, learn from each other, every day in practice, competing to be the best that they can for this football team and for themselves, and really, we got all the confidence in the world that whoever we put out there on Saturday is going to get the job done.
Audrey Snyder.
Hey Drew, thanks for the time. Want to go back to Will Howard. What's maybe like the best moment or leadership moment that you remember from him at Downingtown? Was there maybe one time in the huddle or at a practice where where you knew like this guy is a good leader and that type of thing?
Yeah, so my first game playing offensive line was my sophomore year. We were playing Garnet Valley. They're a perennial power in PIAA football. So we came in to the huddle playing offense, and he was just like calm and telling us like no matter what, it was probably our fourth drive. We hadn't really got much going. He's just continuing to steady the boat and continuing to you know not get too high, not get too low, like I just said, but just being calm and collected and knowing that it's all gonna work out. So that's the kind of leader he is. That's the kind of guy he is. And it's gonna take a lot for us on Saturday.
Dan Hope.
Hey, Drew, obviously it's been a while since you guys have beaten Ohio State in this game. Just what do you look at as maybe the missing thing that you guys need to get over the top and have a chance to win this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think in years past, we've been close. Obviously, it's a play here, it's a play there. It's like a guy, 10 guys doing it right, one guy doing it wrong, and it's just, that's how planes crash, like small things. So just really being on the same page, execution, trust in the game plan. Um, I think that's what it's going to take on Saturday, to go 1-0.
Phil Haas.
Hey Drew, thanks for the time. I just wanted to ask, when Bo came into the game against Wisconsin, did you notice any differences, whether with the offense and how you guys were kind of calling the game, or with the defense and how they were playing you guys? What was kind of the difference after Bo came into the game?
Um, I mean, we just were able to run the rock. On Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, second half, him coming in, he's obviously a running threat. So being able to have that like read option game somewhat, um, and just being able to we were more explosive in the run game. We were more efficient, and just being able to come in. He came in, told us that he's got us. He's not gonna let us down, and he's a confident player. We're confident in him, and yeah.
Kevin Jackson.
Hey, Drew. Obviously, you got a chance to start 5 games as a freshman, and then obviously sitting behind Olu last year. But how you kind of manage the expectations coming into the season, with Penn, your coaching staff expecting you to do good things at left tackle and be able to continue to play at a high level this season.
Yeah. I it didn't come easy. I had to learn a lot, like you said, behind Olu, Caden, Hunter, even Drew Scruggs a couple years ago. Like behind all those guys, learning a lot from them, um, watching their process, seeing how they go about the week, day in, day out, and just really learning the process of like film study and studying your opponent. Um, it hasn't been easy, but continuing to be the same person, consistency, same player, same practice player as I am in the game, and just keep going every single day to continue to get better.
Time for two more. Joe Smeltzer.
Thanks again for the time this morning, Drew. So, 2 years ago when you were a true freshman, Olu got hurt against Ohio State, and then you ended up starting the last 5 games, including the Rose Bowl last season. Ole was back on the left, Kane was on the right side. So, how much added significance does this year's Ohio State game have for you personally, since you're going to be in a starting role now?
We try and treat every game the same way. We gotta go 1-0 each week. We treat every game like a big game. Whether it be the first game of the year, last game of the year. Obviously this week, same thing. It's a big game, 1-0. Yeah.
Last question, Tyler Donahue.
Thanks, Paul. And thanks again, Drew. Wanted to ask you about a couple defensive ends that I know you're familiar with, maybe one more than the other. But James Franklin mentioned on Monday, with denied status up in the air a bit, they feel really good about what Amin Vanover is bringing to the field. So can you maybe discuss here in year 5 for him, how he's taken his game to another level from what you've seen? And then additionally, Max Granville is another guy that Franklin mentioned as the team maybe needing to rely upon down the stretch here. Can you say what his growth has looked like to you in the trenches over the last 3 months?
Yeah. Amin, start with Amin. Amin's my locker buddy. He's right next to me in the locker room, so I get to talk with him every day. Seeing like his development, his attitude change, his demeanor, the way he goes about his business. Um, I think that's been huge for Amin. Seeing him in practice every single day, he's never gonna quit. He's never gonna give up. It seems like he never gets tired. He's always out there, whether talking trash to us, doing whatever he needs to do to get better. And then Max he's gained his weight. He's playing well. He's quick. He's twitchy. He bends well. It's coming. Gaining that experience for Max. I think he's gonna be a really good football player one day, and I think he can help this team win right now. But obviously both those guys are gonna be big for us this weekend and getting that win on Saturday.